Not Scout Talk, we are live, episode 155 of the Pavis Perspective. It's going to be a big one. It's Chesterfield at home after a fantastic win against Grimsby. Let's get the housekeeping done. We are, as always, powered by Better Bytes Computers. Use the code Pavis Perspective when you go in or phone up for discounts on refurbished computers or computer repairs. As always, we couldn't do our show without them. If you're listening back on Spotify, drop that 5-star review. And I am going to say, George, because I thoroughly enjoyed it on Tuesday night, if you did join us for any point or even watch back for our reactions of the watch-along against Grimsby, we loved it. We massively appreciate all the support from that. So drop a subscription because there are 10 games to go and they are 10 huge games with plenty of content. George, it could have been a very different atmosphere on tonight's show, but how are we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better than I've been the last couple of weeks. Really happy with the way that we played on Tuesday. A complete contrast, really, to what we saw at Wimbledon and Barrow, I suppose. So yeah, I'm happy.
Good stuff. Let's see who we've got with us tonight. We've got Phil, who Phil definitely joined us on Tuesday as well. So welcome, Phil. Getting that comment in before 6:30. Love that dedication. Ian, Nottingham Thistle, Elvis, Paul, Ian, Len, Adam, who is a channel member, says just having Diddy on the bench gives our youngsters a much needed boost. Jatta went straight over to him on Tuesday night. Yeah, Pythagorean, Steve, David, Royston, Dan, Gaza, loads of you are tuning in. Some other channel members here. Helen, thank you so much for your support. Evening, Neil. And yeah, evening to everyone. So it is a lot better atmosphere on the show in the last few weeks. And we're going to start off, and I don't want this show to be a negative show at all. I don't think it needs to be. I think it needs to be something really positive now. But what I will say is, that everything that was said by me on the Saturday, it's all black and white against Wimbledon, I think I stand by every word I said. And I think there might be a small portion of fans that were positive throughout that would then use that, not just and the whole fan base as that's why we need to be positive. That's why we need to remain positive. I don't think that helps anyone. I think our last two episodes were completely justified of the Pavis Perspective. I think we talked honestly about what performances were like. But it doesn't mean we're not backing the side. And what I see on social media, people saying the performance against Wimbledon was terrible. That's not them not backing the side either. That's just what they paid to go and see or watched or listened to. It was really poor. And we had to see a reaction because a couple of weeks ago, George, you said to me, we need to book our ideas up or we could fall out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If we lost to Grimsby on Tuesday night, we'll be looking over our shoulder. Grimsby would have leapfrogged us. We'll be playing Chesterfield, who have won 2 in a row. Do you think... I do think this. I think that win so far this season is the most important result of the season that we've had. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely up there, isn't it? It's definitely up there. But for me, I mean, the result's great. You know, we needed those 3 points. We needed that confidence. But it wasn't a smash and grab, was it? It was, you know, we were fairly worthy of the win, I thought. And we played very positive, progressive football. You know, we were pressing really well. And it was just an all-round good performance. If you come away from that and you win 1-0 and it was a smash and grab, you'd probably, well, I would anyway, I'd still have concerns. But it's definitely a performance to build from. I'm hoping we see a similar performance, to be honest, on Saturday. We've got players coming back. So, I mean... It's all good.
It is feeling good. How concerned were you after Wimbledon? I was as worried as I've been all season that my prediction of finishing third was not going to come in. And I kind of thought it's looking bad. Where were your concerns?
Yeah, so I'm with you. Like I was watching that and I was just thinking, this team isn't a promotion team. The way we're playing, the sort of mentality was lacking in those games for sure. And the turnaround's been great, but I mean, they're obviously we have that in us, that sort of result and performance in us, which is concerning. It's still concerning, you know. We've only won our last game, and before that, we were really struggling, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think it definitely keeps our promotion hopes alive, doesn't it? One off automatics. We've got I think we play Bradford, don't we, and Doncaster in our last 10 games that we have left. So it's there, you know. I think I said this on Tuesday night. I even had one friend telling me he thinks we could go on to win the league, but I mean, I'm definitely not in that camp. We just have to take it a game at a time, because it seems to the fluctuation in performance has been pretty vast in the last week. When you think to Saturday to Tuesday, so I mean, it could have been one of those where Grimsby just weren't at the races and we outplayed them on the night. I mean, time will tell.
They were on an excellent run of form before that. They went away to Warsaw, who, they're faltering, but they're the league leaders. Do you know what I mean? They went away and went behind, I believe. And I'm just looking now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unbeaten before they played us. I listened to David Artell, the Grimsby manager's post-match. He said he thought there were value for something out of the game. And on another day, they would have won it.
Sure about that?
I'm not sure they would have won the game. They had a good few chances. They had the one-on-one chance and they had the back heel in the first half. But we had chances. We also had chances as well. So a draw wouldn't have been unfair. I think a draw would have not been enough to keep us really in the automatic hunt.
Do you think?
Maybe just about. If we'd have drawn that game...
If it had been 3 points off automatic, you think we'd have been out of it? With 10 games left?
With the way we'd played recently. Like, let's say we were leading the game and conceded late on. And all momentum's completely gone, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The last... Before Tuesday, I was so like deflated with Nars. I couldn't see where we were going to sort of pull it out, because we went into, was it Barrow, and we were saying, we just need to come out quickly. We need to come out fast. We didn't see it. Obviously, we go on to lose. And then Wimbledon, it's the same again. Like we just didn't really see any, sort of aggression, really, any aggressive football where we had that desire. And I just felt like it's such a shame to be in the position we are, to end up to have a nothing season, but then Tuesday night just changes everything, doesn't it? It's so funny how quickly my perceptions changed, because I was really thinking this is going to get bad, really bad. But, I definitely 1 win, 2-0, and it's completely changed my perspective.
You're right. I'm just going to pause here because unless I missed a comment, Melanie has got the anagram. Motorist Punch is Curtis Thompson. And I thought we'd use him tonight because he actually came on, didn't he, George? For Grimsby?
He did.
Decent player. I'll probably have him at this level as an option off the bench. Obviously, he's not a starting ahead of Matty Palmer or George Abbott, but a really, really decent player, I think. Let's have a look. You guys need to pull your finger out. Matt from Jills in the Blood got an Accrington fan on his preview show before this weekend's game. £100. Accrington fans are asking £100. That's why we can't get them on. We don't have the budget.
I think it could have potentially been someone in disguise. Not sold on that one.
100%. We could get Jordan on here with a wig.
Yeah, he probably has an Accrington shirt in his archive somewhere as well, don't you, Jordan?
I'm also kind of giving up on it, and I'm protesting because I've asked a lot. I have asked a lot, and I've had people. You know what? I've had certain. If you find a podcast, read it and not reply. So I mean, that's not very. It's not very kind, is it?
Drop the name.
I'm not going to drop the name. I'm generally not. Peter says, "Good morning at 4 a.m. from Singapore. 10 cup finals to go. Unreal dedication. Unreal." So get your questions in for us. Got a lot to discuss. We're going to look more at that Grimsby game as well. Talk about some individual performances. Obviously, big news about Alex Bath. Well, not news necessarily that I've heard, but the situation with Alex Bass. You've got Didsey coming back as well. You've got a few performances in there that I thought were really, really positive. And if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat. So here's one. And it's a genuine question here from James, and I fully agree because I've thought of it as well. But it doesn't feel like the right time for me to go into this in any kind of detail at all. And I'm not dismissing the question, but I'm also not. It's a great question, but I don't think we go into it in massive detail. It's Tom and George. Would you want a manager change in the summer if we fail to gain promotion, even if we finish fourth but lost in the playoffs, for example? My quick answer to that would be depends how we finish the season. If we were to win 8 of our last 10, but the teams above us just kept winning as well, then no. If we limped to the playoffs and lost over 2 legs heavily, probably, yeah. I think if we were to say win 8 out of the last 10 and then got done by a last minute goal in the playoff final, I find it hard. But I think, what do you think? Good question. And I'd be going into this in a lot more detail if we'd have lost on Tuesday night.
So I think I would,
Regardless.
I don't know. For me, this is just my personal sort of feeling on it. Like I just feel like I don't know. I don't want to be harsh on Maynard, but I just feel like he never really got fans on side. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it would be almost refreshing to have that clean slate of a new coach. Maybe I'm being harsh.
I don't want him to go, though. I want him to take us up.
Well, yeah, exactly. If he takes us up, then absolutely not. But I feel like if we fail this season, it's been difficult, hasn't it? And it probably would be harsh to say sack him. But
I'm going to change my answer. If you finish in fourth, to be honest, with these injuries, if you finish in seventh, I'll take it. We've been decimated with injuries. We have, and the guy's got no coaches with him. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I'm actually going to be in the camp of no, but also it's so depends on the situation, doesn't it? We could lose like the last 4 games and then get battered in the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? So, here's another question. Tom and George, if we went up, how many of the current squad would you keep for League One next season? Oh, we've gone complete opposite there. I think I genuinely believe in this squad, and that's why I've tipped us since August to go up in 3rd place. I think a lot of players in this squad could play at that level. Alex Bass, Bedu, Matty Platt, George Abbott. I am pretty convinced if we went up, they would say continue development in League One. I think Jody could play League One. I do think he could play League One. And, there's a core of like 6 players there that I would be pretty happy to start in League One, if I'm honest. Then I've got players that I think could cut it as sort of players off the bench. But, do you know who I think is a really good player? Really, really good is Nick Cerula. I think, I really do rate him. I think he could play at League One level. I do.
I like Cerula.
I might be jumping the gun here, but...
I think I'd say Bass, Bedu, Jones... Abbott, if you can get him back, obviously.
Platt?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, shut up. You haven't got me on
about
Matty Platt. If you put
personal attack, mate, look at the level of League One. The jump up from League One to League Two is going to be huge if it happens for us.
No, Mansfield are doing class.
Exactly.
They're going to win the league, aren't they?
Yeah, but look how good Mansfield were last season.
No, I know what you're saying. What I'm saying is...
I think we can be disillusioned as well with... Mate, we made the same mistakes when we got promoted from the National League. We thought, we can keep the same squad and go up again next season. Look what happened.
Yeah, but...
They were nowhere near the level, majority of them.
If we went up this season, I think we'd do a good season would be to finish 15th.
If we kept the same squad?
No. I think regardless, if you finish, if you go up to league, I think League 2 to League 1 is like a good size step up.
I think they're all. I think it is. The step ups now are big because of the amount of money that's in football all the way up now.
Adam, did you hear the Mansfield assistant manager on Tuesday? No, I did not.
Oh, he actually he went in on the squad, I think.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he? Can't be doing that. Cannot be doing that. It's a good question though. But I also think when you said we made that same mistake, I do think if you'd asked me that question, if that question, what it probably was asked to us, I think I'd have probably said nearly the whole squad could have stayed from league, as in from National League to League Two.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
We were so good, but I do think there's probably only 5 or 6 players that I would say I'd be confident to start. But yeah, Martin says, don't worry about after this season. I know. Questions we were asked though. We've got to talk about it, and it's Alex Bass. He's been down that many times this season, wasting time, or not wasting time, allowing for us to make tactical changes that I didn't really.
Boy, cried wolf, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't expect. I have no idea with this. Do you think that the boot is precautionary because he limped off?
Maybe. I mean, be precautionary. You know what I mean? I think it's good to be over precautionary. Using Jody as an example. Remember when Jody had that break earlier on in the season and he walked off the pitch limping?
He played for about 5 minutes, didn't he?
I remember saying it to you, like, why is he walking off the pitch if he's in that much pain? Put him on a stretcher and stretch him off. And look, could have caused further damage. Who knows? But I'd love it if it was just like a over precautionary thing, and they like realistically, if you are put in a boot, why are you back out on the pitch at full time?
Yeah,
I feel like it could have just been a bit of mind games for Chesterfield maybe on Saturday. I'd love it if it was. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
Bash just comes in unscathed. Nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. I can't see him playing against Chesterfield personally. This afternoon, I recorded something for. Let me just find it because I don't want to do them a disservice. There's a Chesterfield-based radio station. I can't remember the exact name. It's going to bug me. But I recorded something for them this afternoon, and one of the questions was, what could Chesterfield do in the game? And I said, stick it on knots very, very early on and put the ball in the box. That's what I would do. I would put it in the box as often as possible in the opening few minutes. The last time they played us, not the last time they played us, sorry, the time before that was the playoff final. And we're going to have the same goalkeeper in goal, potentially. I'm not going to be harsh on Slocum for the whole thing here, but for probably the worst 10 minutes of football I've seen a professional goalkeeper ever make. Passed it to himself from a goal kick, which under sevens don't do. And then
I think that's a bit harsh. I think that's a bit harsh.
Harsh on what? Under sevens?
Well,
you passed it to yourself from a goal kick. Think about that.
It's harsh.
We got an indirect free kick in the playoff final after 2 minutes. I mean, it was unreal. It was unreal. It's not harsh, Chris says. And if I remember how you were in the stand, you can't tell me I'm being harsh. You had the stewards trying to stop you jumping over the barrier. I said, it's not worth it, mate. I said, we're going to get promoted. And then he wiped out their striker. But no, he came on and did well. He came on and did well, very well, actually, against Grimsby. After a shaky couple of minutes, he made some pretty good saves, a really good save in the second half. But, yes, Darren, Slocum will have better defenders in front of him, but I would, if I was them, just put the ball in the box as often as possible. That's what I would do. He is going to have better defenders in front of him. How big a difference do you think it is to go into? It could not just be Chesterfield. It could be the whole running with Slocum in goal. I've also read somewhere that we're not allowed to loan in an emergency loan for a goalkeeper because Slocum counts as a first team goalkeeper, so we can't do that. The only thing we could do is if Bass is out for a longer term, and I haven't seen if Maynard's done anything in the pre-match, but is to get a free agent, which I don't know if we're going to do. So how big is it to not have Bass?
Massive. He's been great for us this season, hasn't
he? Yeah. And I don't know. if let's say he's out for 2 games, you don't bring a free agent in. Let's say he's out for the season. What do? Do you go with Slocum for the final 10, potentially final 13 with playoffs? Or do you get a free agent in?
Get Doyle back.
Hey?
Get Doyle back.
Fair enough. Callum says Ben Foster free agent. No. No. I wouldn't go and watch him. I'm not a fan of Ben Foster at all.
Why not?
No, not a fan of him. Because he's it's so unprofessional. It's so unprofessional. When just before he left Wrexham, he was so focused on like his podcast and his like the entertainment side of things that he literally said it took his eye off the ball, and he was appalling. Is that lad in the Warmper youth player? Yes. Belkowski's actually available, but he's retired, so you'd have to ask him back out of retirement. But no, we're in a list of important players for a Notts automatic. Do you rank Alex Bass?
As in numerically?
Yeah, as in like who? No, numerically. So like, is he the number 1 player for? As in importance?
No, I wouldn't say he's number 1.
I think he's top 3.
Yeah, he's top 3 for sure.
And that's the kick in the teeth, because you get Didsey back, and within 10 minutes you've lost your goalkeeper. So let's be positive. We got Didsey back.
Yay!
Go on, do that again.
Yay!
He was unreal when he came on. My man of the match, and he only played 20 minutes.
Mr. Tempo.
Oh, do you know what? He's deceptively strong, isn't he? He's so strong on the ball. Do you know the goal he scores? The ball gets launched up. He takes it down. He kind of does a wrong touch, and then he just shrugs their player off.
Yeah, I remember when he sort of received the ball, Jata was through on it, and he could have just squared it to Jata, and it'd been a really good chance for him. But he took it himself, didn't he, and scored an absolutely wonderful goal. He was controlling the ball so well, so calm. I remember he received the ball sort of on the halfway line, and he just did 2 touches and got past 2 players. He was just brilliant. It's great. I'm close to tears here, actually.
Is that, and if people have said that, then they think that should be it. Is that it for who makes way for him? Do you think he starts against Chesterfield?
I hope so.
But do you think so?
I don't know, because it's a tough question. I'd probably say yeah, on the fact that I don't think we've rushed him back in the slightest. He'll know where he's at. He looked good. He looked ready for it on Tuesday. So I feel like they were probably managing him to play to start on Saturday. That's why he didn't start on Tuesday. So I'd say yeah.
Yeah. Also, we were sat there on the watch along, weren't we? And we said, if we're winning, don't bring Didsey on. But
yeah,
fair play to Maynard, because he brought him on. And I wouldn't say Grimsby, once Didsey came on playing behind the striker, they didn't get a sniff, because he was such a threat. Every time we won the ball, do you know, in recent weeks we've just been lumping up to Jata and like he's had 2 or 3 players on him. Every time we won the ball, I thought we could counter-attack. I genuinely thought we could get a goal here. I mean, right at the end, Abbott plays in Jata. There was another opportunity for a goal, which we overhit a pass. The whole thing when he came on changed the game. Also, you know who benefits massively? Massively.
Me?
Is Jata.
Oh.
Who did you say?
Me.
Well, I benefit from
that. It's good viewing, isn't it? No,
it is.
Good viewing when he's on the pitch.
But Jata's a different player. You liking the bromance?
I suppose so. Yeah, it's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's class. It's up. Mate, I'm telling you. Those two, having the rest of the season, we're laughing. Didsey last season, 37 games, 12 goals, 4 assists. This season, 11 games less, already surpassed his goals. Now, have you got the poll question to hand?
I do. Do you want me to go for it?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, the poll question this week. Oh, Do you think we can get another season out of Didsey? It's close. It's really, really close this week. 97% say yes.
Right.
3% say no. With 146 votes, that's
That's a massive amount of votes.
it is. That's like what? Let me do some quick maths. 142 people, I think. But yeah,
You called for it back in Jan, didn't you? To get him that new
contract.
contract.
140. Yeah, exactly.
I've obviously voted yes.
Yeah, I have.
Do you think what would he be? Would he be going on 38 next season? If we were to go up, Didsey 38 in League One. What do you think?
I'll take it.
How much of a job could a 38-year-old David McGoldrick do in League One? Would he be a starter then?
I believe so. Yeah, Yeah, I believe so. Because look, you've got to. We're looking very far ahead, and I think we're probably being a little bit maybe arrogant. We're sat in fourth, and we're talking about League One next season. But I mean, we've got to look forward, and we've got to be positive, really. I suppose. So, you look at the squad, right? If there's no Abbott in the squad, which there probably won't be next season, the amount of replacement that we're going to have to do will be absolutely mad. So I think to keep Didsey in the squad, I think is massive. And we talk about him being impactful on the pitch. I think he's very impactful off the pitch. He's been there and done it at every level, really, hasn't he? So I know he's sort of definitely in the last year or so of his career, but he's got. I feel like he's still got a lot to give.
I do kind of think there is definitely part of him that is like he's got one more thing to achieve in his career. Because let's be honest, he's not going to any club other than Notts, is he? He's going to stay at Notts and he's going to finish this season or next. Okay, he wants to get us promoted. 100% wants to get us promoted. So I'm all for it. 146 votes, did you say?
151 now.
151. Let's push this. This will be a massive, and I don't think we've achieved that this season. Let's push for 150 likes. That would be unreal. So, what did we get to last week? Let's have a look. Last week, 110. 110. We can push for 150. If that's the votes we're getting, we can push for 150 likes. So please drop a like on the video. Just looking at some of the comments here. This caught my eye, and I forgot his name. I hate it when that happens. We were joined by Tim from the Railwaymen podcast, I believe it was, earlier in the season when we played Crewe. And he put a tweet that tagged us in that said, don't call the game off against Crewe because of internationals, because we've all bought our train tickets. Now, they're not going to call up Jody. I think you have to have 2 call-ups to call a game off. But if Jatta gets called up...
I thought it was 3.
Is it? I thought it was 2 at this level.
No, you might be right. I'm not sure.
No, you could be right. But I don't know. But
be nice, Rich.
Rich, that if we got that, someone said they want to see a Didsey celebration. I've been walking around with a Didsey celebration all the time, like that. You the only way you get a George doing a Didsey celebration is if we get 5k by the end of the season. There's no way he's doing it. I'll show you again.
Yeah, there you go.
Fine. 3 call-ups. So who would be the 3? Jody ain't getting called up. Cerula's not going to get called up to Cyprus.
It's not happening, is it? It's not happening.
No.
It's not what we're talking about.
But what if Jatta got called up, would be that focal point going, yes, please like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Looking at the other questions as well. People talking about Walsall Bromley tonight. Here's my question for you, George. Would you rather Walsall win or extend their lead ahead of us and into the top 3? Or would you rather Barrow win, and if one had to win, because you could say draw, and Barrow win and go on to 54 points? Sorry, not Barrow. Bromley. Bromley close the gap or Walsall win?
With Bromley.
They'll go 7 behind us. It's still quite a gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we just say how unbelievably well they're doing?
Yeah, they're doing great. They're a good side. You know, they frustrate anyone that they'll play against, and they've got a good game plan. I like Bromley. They know, you know what you get with Bromley.
Yeah, they are a good. I'm. To be fair, I think they've done an absolutely outstanding job. So well done to them. Right now, new part of the show we're bringing. Each week, we're going to think of a question to ask each other. It could be a short question that has a very, very brief answer. It could be a longer form question. But we're gonna bring a question to each other. And it was kind of prompted from, I can't remember who it was, and apologies if you're in the chat right now, but someone asked us a question on the watch along at half time, and it was, would we rather not win the FA Cup or England win, was it the Euros or the World Cup, George?
I think it was the World Cup, wasn't it?
I think it was the World Cup. And we gave our answer, and I kind of thought, you know what, we could pose these kind of questions to each other. So each week, we're going to pose a question to each other. And as I've said, short, long, whatever. But would like you to join in as well. So give us your answers in the chat. Mine's going to be quite hard to play along with, but you could give me your final answer in the chat. So, George, do you want to go first, or do you want me to kick off the questions?
You go first.
Right. I've selected some random Notts players, previous and some current. Okay. And I'm gonna read the first two off. You're going to give me who you not thought was the best, who you most preferred at Notts. It could have been. So, for example, if I'd have included Casper Sloth would end up being the winner for you, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Even though he didn't play at all. Did he play a minute? I'm not sure. Or one game.
I know, he's such a good guy, man. Real good guy.
And it's winner stays on. Okay, so these are random selection. The players do get a bit better. Because if I started with an unreal player, then the game is dead instantly. Right, you ready? First question. Damien McCrory or Kevin Castro?
McCrory.
Not the free kick against York.
McCrory.
Okay, McCrory or Matt Tootle?
Tootle.
Tootle or Jeff Hughes?
Jeff Hughes.
Jeff Hughes or Alex Lacey?
Jeff Hughes.
Jeff Hughes or Paul Heffernan?
Paul Heffernan.
Paul Heffernan or Bartosz Białkowski?
Bartosz.
Okay. Now, wherever you are.
You know why, right? I've got a story about this. It was the end of the season. Sorry to sort of cut into the questions here. And I was sat in the Cop, and it was the last game of the season. Bartosz throws his gloves, and it literally just tipped my my fingertips. I'll never forget that. Upsets me. So if you're out there and you're watching this, send me a pair of gloves, please.
So remember where you are and give us your final answer of who's won. This is not the best player. It's who you've enjoyed watching the most. So we're at Bartosz Białkowski. He's just knocked Paul Heffernan out. Bartosz Białkowski or Matty Palmer?
Bartosz.
Ooh, Bartosz Białkowski or David Pipe?
Oh, mate. Like he was... David Pipe was like the player that... I used to love him when I was first started going to Notts, because he would have been when I was like 8 or 9, maybe even younger, 7, maybe. I'm going to say David Pipe.
And there might be some. I see people in Don Masson, Ian McCullough. They're not included. They might be included later, but they're not included in mine. David Pipe or Alan Judge?
Oh, Alan Judge.
Alan Judge or Kasper Schmeichel?
Ooh, this is good. I'm going to say Schmeichel. That one season was special.
I'm nearly there now. Kasper Schmeichel or Shola Amiobi?
Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel or George Abbott?
Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel or Ben Davis?
Ooh. Kasper Schmeichel.
Oh, Kasper Schmeichel or Mike Edwards?
Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel or Jody Jones?
Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel or Mark Stallard?
Oh, here we go. Kept us up a few times, didn't he? Stallard. Legend.
You going for Stallard?
I don't know, It's a good one. I'm going to have to go Stallard.
More. 2 to go. Mark Stallard or Jack Grealish?
Grealish.
Jack Grealish or Macaulay Langstaff?
Both Notts legends in their own right, aren't they? Grealish kept us in League One. Langstaff got us back into the Football League. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go to Grealish because what he's gone on to achieve, and like the pride that you take in that as a Notts fan is huge. Obviously,
Grealish is your winner.
Yeah,
fair play. Do you know who got quite far in mine? To be fair, of players, because I just liked. I don't know. I always had something I liked. He got nowhere near the end, but Alex Lacey got quite far for me. I liked Alex Lacey, but Bartosz Belkowski also got very far as well. Yeah, Schmeichel nearly won it from dead centre of the game then. People saying Langstaff, Maka.
But the problem you have with that, right, is you're obviously Langstaff. You're gonna remember more fondly because it was more recently.
But also, he did break the record by a considerable amount of goals. You know what I mean? 42 league goals. But also, if you include Maka at the start, the game becomes irrelevant because Maka's just there and there. So, yeah, let us know. A lot of people saying they ended with Maka. Some people saying Grealish. You ended with Jack Grealish, didn't you? Mm-hmm. That solo goal at home. Incredible. What's your question then?
Mine's not as long as yours, but it's a difficult one, It is a difficult one. So, I wasn't going to do this, but I'll paint a picture, right? Doncaster, last game of the season. We need a win. Penalty in the 9 seconds of the game, right? But the player that takes the penalty can't have scored already this season. So, do you want me to read you who you can choose?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Matty Platt.
Yeah.
Sam Austin.
Yeah.
Rod McDonald.
Great question this is. Yeah.
Jarvis. Whittaker. Zach Johnson or Lucas Ness.
They're the only players that haven't scored?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
According to my statistics.
Wow. That is a good question. So who takes the penalty to send us up? I would go. Oh, that is tricky. I'm going to say Matty Platt. And absolutely. It says Platt scored at Morecambe.
Yeah, no, I've got that wrong. That's the assists. We'll start again. I'll read out the players again. So, Alex Bass.
Yeah.
Jacob Bedu. Matty Palmer. Lewis McCarry. Kellen Gordon. Rod McDonald. Curtis Edwards. Jarvis. Zach Johnson and Lucas Ness still.
Bedu. I'd have Bedu and I'd say absolutely hammer it as hard as you can. There's no way I'm letting Jarvis take a penalty.
What about Matty Palmer?
No. He won't beat the first man.
Do you know who I'd choose?
The first man's the keeper.
I'd choose McCarry.
Why?
Just would. I just feel like he'd do it.
I'd go Bedu and say run from the halfway line and then absolutely leather it. I say put the goalkeeper through the net if you have to. Just smash. That's a good question, and I liked how you purposely threw me off by reading the players that hadn't got an assist first. It added to the tension. I was sat there thinking, I'm sure I've been at Cheltenham and seen an Austin goal, but
I was thinking that when I read it, I'm sure Austin scored.
Good question. A few people have put in the chat who I could have included in my game. I could have had Ruben in there. Could have had Lee Hughes, but they weren't included. This was a random selection of players. Random selection. There we go. Tom and George. Start, bench, or sell these players? That is horrendous. That is a horrendously difficult question. Oh my! I don't think I can do that. Start, bench, or sell? Maka, Jody, and Grealish. Easy. Let me go. No, you go first.
I'd start Jody.
Yeah.
I'd bench Maka and sell Grealish. 100 million, come on.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you'd set the club up for years. You'd set the club up for absolutely years. Also, Traore's got to be on there, hasn't he, George? For not scoring.
Yeah, it must not have been updated yet.
But also, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, you won't back him, would you?
I wouldn't have. That's a lot of pressure to put on him. Michael Cheek, what a striker.
Sell Jody, bench Grealish, start Maka.
Hasn't scored though.
What's
It's
the logic in that one?
Ben Thompson who scored. Fantastic. Good signing for them as well. We I'm not going to say it, but the gap could be closed on. Walsall have absolutely bottled it, haven't they?
They have, yeah. They have.
George needs to sack his researchers.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. I do. You're absolutely
He
spot
does his
on.
own research.
I do my own research, yeah.
Mine was spot on. Every player I mentioned had played for Notts. Every player I mentioned had played. So, we haven't really spoken about Chesterfield too much. They're riddled with injuries. We've got key players injured. I hate playing Chesterfield. Never enjoy the game. Really don't enjoy going to their ground. It's not one of my favourites. I'll be honest. There's quite a few that I'm not, fond of at Chesterfield. It just feels like I drive there and drive straight back. It's not a long away day, is it? But I really don't like playing them. We've had some good moments against them, though, haven't we? The Mark Ellis goal just after COVID, the equaliser at their place recently, obviously the playoffs. But what do you think? They've won 2 in a row. Do you think it's going to be a nasty game? We just kind of played in that type of game against Grimsby, but on a pitch made of rice pudding, obviously. But how do you see this one going? I just don't like playing them.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's going to be difficult, I think. But look, I mean, we're owed a good performance at Mead Lane, aren't we? I think, and I think the players aren't going to, be unaware of that. What we've seen at Mead Lane even this year, it's just been awful, boring, just dejecting football, really. So we're owed a good performance at the Lane. I'd like to see us put it on Chesterfield a little bit and sort of start the game like we did against Grimsby. Will they allow us to do that? I'm not sure. But we've got to go for it, If we're serious about automatic, we have to win. We have to win on Saturday. We need to take advantage of the home games because we've not done that this season. It's been disappointing. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see us come out quickly,
What better way to kickstart the automatic push with 10 games to go than beating Chesterfield?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm looking at that. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Newport at home. Me and you on our own will give Newport a good run at Mead Lane. So, but they won 4-0 away at Salford, who had a man sent off after 24 minutes. So, you're playing a majority of the game without that. The players they were missing on Tuesday was Araujo, who was good at their place, Dunkley, Will Grigg, Paddy Madden, massive. Paddy Madden got a straight red, so I believe he's still out. 1 more game suspended. They've got some big injuries. It's a good time to play them. Not in terms of their form, because they've won 2, but in terms of injuries, you're not going to face a side that's got this many players suspended or injured for a while. Do you know who always scares me when they play against Notts for some reason, even though I didn't do much at their place, is Ryan Colclough. He's a good player. They've also got that. What's that lad that always falls over? Deborah, is it? Deborah
Meaden, is it?
It's Amanda Deborah, I think.
I can't remember. Isn't she that judge on X Factor?
No, that bloke that fell over at Wembley a few times.
Don't know. Not sure.
Am I making a player up? He's deaf. Which just says Dobra. Never heard of him.
I think people actually the satireness of the jokes just gone. Looking at the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. No, but he's definitely going to score.
Deborah.
No, he's going to be a handful. He's a good player. This question was asked a while ago. Would you actually have him at Notts?
Who?
Deborah.
No, not a chance.
No, I wouldn't. But he's a good player. Him and Colclough could do us some damage at Mead Lane. We'll see. Let's go for our lineup then, because there's a couple of changes in there for me. So for me, Alex Bass isn't playing.
Okay.
So it's Slocum. Back 3 for me: Bedu, Platt, Macquarie. You agree?
Yeah,
Wing backs, I thought were good on Tuesday. I'm going to keep them the same. Cerudo and Gordon.
absolutely.
Midfield too.
They pick themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
They pick themselves. Matty
Who's
Palmer.
the more important of the two this season?
It's got to be Grant. It's got to be Grant.
Grant.
I'm joking. Probably Abbey. You know, I can't imagine where we'd be without Grant. No,
Grant.
Not about Abbott.
Abbott. It's because you're trying to be funny and now you've confused yourself.
Yeah, I know. Been a long week. It's been a long week.
Who's up front? Well, behind Jatta. I'm gonna start Didzy. I'm gonna start Didzy and then Grant alongside.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I also think it's if you're gonna give Didzy a heart, I think bringing him off the bench might, if you're behind, I'd rather start him and play and start that game well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We then get a week's break after when we play Crew, but it's going to be abandoned because I've just been told that Cyprus have just called up Nick Cerula. Jatta's been called up and Lewis Macari's been called up. So, I mean, Tuchel's had a word with Matty Palmer as well and George Abbott. So they're all called up. So the game's off against Crew. So Crew may as well not send a team. What's the score still in our league? 1-0. So the Walsall game's out the way tonight because everyone wants to watch Bromley Walsall on Sky Sports. On Saturday, before we even kick off, Doncaster will have played Crew, so someone's dropping points there. Bradford then played Tranmere, who I'm fully expecting to win. They're going to get the win. And Port Vale at home to MK, who MK are just maybe going to start having their revival. So I'll tell you what, that top seven is going to look very different next Thursday. Sorry, after I went on our show, it's going to be very different. We could potentially be in the top three going into another home game, or we could have a similar performance to Saturday. But yeah, Carl says I'm in, but 50 minutes behind. Just fast forward all the bits that George talks, and just listen to what I've had to say. But also, do watch the bit where George tells us that Austin and Platt haven't scored. That's a good bit. That's a really good bit, actually. Made me laugh. You're saying them so confidently. 3 people, someone put 3 of those have actually scored.
Do you know what? I actually Googled it and it was on ESPN and I thought, I can't trust ESPN. I thought it's too late. I'm going to have to go with it. And then I'd scroll down to the assists. So
it happens to the best of us.
It does. You're right.
It does.
I thought it was a good question, but at the same time, I do feel like I'll let everyone down. So I'm sorry about that.
I don't. Subscribe if you feel let down, to be honest.
Yeah. If you feel like I've done well, subscribe. If you feel let down, subscribe as well.
If you like new microphones, subscribe.
All I can do is my best, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a struggle. Right. Score prediction for the Chesterfield game. I'm going to go with what I said on the pre-record for the Chesterfield radio show earlier. I'm going to say 3-1 Notts.
I'm going to go 1-0 Notts.
I think we put a decent performance in, but we're not. I think you'll be very, very surprised to see us play 90 minutes of good football against Chesterfield. I think they have a good half hour of the play. Who scores for you?
Dids.
All of them.
1-0.
All of them, then. Is it all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Careful, it might be an assist. 3-2. Mickey says 3-2. Callum says George coming under pressure like Walsall. We've got a 3-2 here. We've got a 2-0. Hang on, George just texted me. Kick Callum from the chat. You're not supposed to read that.
You're not supposed to read that out, yeah.
Don't read that out. Oh, sorry. 3-1, Jack Trick. 3-0. We've got 3-0. We've got 4-1, Chicks and Harrick. Didsy halfway line. George, there's your chance to get him back.
Harrick. It's all right. I'll let him have it. I'll just remember it. I don't forget things.
You take the moral high ground.
Yeah, I'll take them. I'll let if someone makes a mistake, I'm not going to highlight it and
I'm
belittle
back,
them for it. So you can
I'm
have it.
backing you,
Have
mate.
it.
I'm fully backing you, George. I will always back you. I'll
Ah,
never show you up. 4-0. Martin says that'll be unreal. Imagine 4-0. We've got 2-1 knots. We've got 3-1 knots. We've got 3-2 knots. Slocum saves last minute penalty. There you go, George. We've got 2-1. We've got 3-1. And Richard, I'm going to end with this because Richard said, great show. First time I've watched live. 2-0. Richard, thank you. Really do appreciate it. As I've said, 10 massive games to go. It's been described in the chat as 10 cup finals to go. We've got to get behind them. We've got to get behind them, especially with Chesterfield bringing, a few thousand with them. It's going to be loud. They're going to be up for it. They're still chasing the playoffs. Play like we did on Tuesday for the next 10 games. Who knows what happens? 2 big home games coming up against 2 sides that will want to beat us. We've had history with Chesterfield. We've had history with Crew. Stick with us on the channel. We are going to have an It's All Black and White episode up shortly after full time against Chesterfield. And we will be back next Thursday, same time, same place, for a review of that game and a look ahead to the visit of Crew. Please leave a like, comment anything else you think of, and hit that subscribe button.